This past couple of weeks has seen me return to the Yu-Gi-Oh card game after many years, and what encouraged me to finally give Master Duel a try was the 2004 time travel event. That saw players using cards from, you guessed it, 2004. The very cards that my generation were collecting and playing as kids on the playground. Jumping straight into the game, I had no cards beyond the starter deck, which of course was not compatible with the event. So I jumped in with a lone deck, for which I exclusively used the fusion deck. I didn't know which was going to be the best of the three, as I expected all three to be relatively balanced against each other. But I always enjoyed fusion as a mechanic, so I figured, why not go with that one? It felt like an obvious choice for me. And this turned out to be a decent choice, for me anyways. My win rate was somewhere around 75%, as I figured out which cards I had to hold on to fight off the inevitable Horus whenever he appeared on the field. Each game was a tug of war, with control over the field persistently shifting between the two players, each one of us holding on to our ace cards to counter whatever our opponent throws at us next. Going in with everything all at once was always a recipe for disaster. A single Mirror Force, Raigeki, Heavy Storm, or any other card in that era could tear apart the field in seconds, and with the limited number of options available to us, with every turn, so much more thought went into every card. I had a ton of fun playing this particular game. It was one of those whereby you look at the time and you say, I'd better put this down in 5 minutes because I've really got to get some stuff done. And then, in the blink of an eye, a whole hour's just gone. Poof, just like that, a whole hour. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Yeah, it was one of those. Whether we were fighting for control of our monsters between Change of Heart, Snatch and Steal, or trying to get past an opponent's Thousand Eyes Restrict, or Swords of Revealing Light. Every turn, draw and card played was an obstacle to overcome, the solution to which was rarely about to pop out of the extra deck. So after that event, after all of that, the event came to its conclusion, all too soon, lasting only 4 days. The fun, for the most part, was over, but I had enjoyed myself and I managed to get in some games with my friend Rambo from the Echoes of New Eden podcast. Granted, those games weren't in the time travel event because I kinda lacked the cards, I couldn't actually build a deck at this point. But I was now hooked on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, so I headed over to ranked mode, and after all, I needed to grind to build myself a 2004 deck for future matches, especially with Rambo and in the light of this event possibly returning in the future. And boy oh boy, this was an entirely different game. A game that I struggled to even recognise. Sitting through an opponent's 6-minute long first turn became a common occurrence, with combo after combo, deck searching, summoning monsters from all over the place only to bounce along to the next monster. Now I know the time limit is set to around 5 minutes per player per turn, but when you factor in animations, in loading times and so on, it tends to lean closer to 6 minutes. And then finally, when your turn comes along, you only have a few cards to play and nada. Nothing. Everything you do gets negated, whether it's summoning, activations, trying to attempt some deck searching and so on. You weren't playing a game, it felt like you were watching someone else play. And about an hour before I recorded this particular video, there was a brilliant animation someone had launched on YouTube earlier today, and it just sums up my feeling whatsoever. I'm gonna have to leave the thumbnail for it in the corner of this video or something, because it just spoke to me, that particular animation, and the timing on it was so perfect as well. But anyway, it felt like you were watching someone else play a game, that you yourself weren't playing the game. You're just watching someone else play the game and enjoy their combos. And yeah, this was ranked play. I should have known to expect it with it being ranked play. Battles at the bottom of the ladder, the very bottom of the bottom, because of course I've only just started, and I was kind of expecting a bit of an easier time at the bottom of the ladder, not, very first game, 20 moves and 5 minutes, and you get what I'm saying here. So, one video title I came across in the past week, and this is in addition to the one that I've already just spoken about, gave me a bit of a chuckle. And yeah, the thumbnail will be up on screen right now. 3 turns. Yeah, I guess 3-turn duels are a much more common event nowadays. In fact, I recall coming across a post on Discord whereby a player was complaining about the 2004 format because of how boring they considered it to be, simply because they couldn't play an entire game's worth of cards in a single turn. In fact, I recall a number of games whereby the opponent would surrender in only 1 or 2 turns, likely because they didn't have what they needed in hand for an instant win. If they held off on surrendering and actually played me, they would have realised quite quickly how underperforming my deck would be, because I don't have that many cards. They would have probably won if they didn't surrender. If they committed to the game and actually saw the cards that I was going to be playing, they wouldn't have surrendered. They'd have carried on and they would have won. It's definitely not the game I remember. The differences between 2004 and the modern formats really are this stark. We're not talking about older generations who played the game in their childhoods getting all nostalgic for older game card designs. Well, that does factor in a little bit, but it's more about how the game actually plays today in 2024 and how stark a difference there is now between 2024 and 2004. 2004 plays an entirely different game and attracts its very own player base, myself included. I'm not complaining, bear in mind, about the state of current Yu-Gi-Oh! The game is clearly surviving and thriving in the current format, but for players who returned to enjoy the 2004 time travel event, there isn't really all that much to keep us with the event over. And whether it be on Discord or YouTube, there are plenty of voices calling for the 2004 format to be made a more permanent feature in Master Duel, whether that is by the casual duel format or another ranked duel format to coexist alongside the modern ones. Either one would keep myself and many others in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel ecosystem for much longer. As it stands for the moment, I'm getting the odd duel in here and there with ranked mode, but every time I go in, I have to go in with my fingers crossed. I have to go in with my fingers crossed for an opponent who doesn't have 5-minute long turns and will actually stick around past the 3-turn mark, especially if they don't have the perfect hand. As in my duels, for every player who played a 5-minute long turn, there was another one who just quit prematurely because they didn't have that perfect ace hand to start with. For me, the game was always about having to adapt. If you got a really bad hand, it was all down to what's that next card going to be? Is it going to save me? That anticipation. It wasn't just an instant quit. Okay, this is bad. Throw it away, start again, try and get a win in as quickly as possible. It wasn't about that. It was about the anticipation, what comes next. But I experienced none of what I'm talking about in the 2004 event with regards to the 5-minute turns and the turn 3 quits. And I hope that videos like this one and any others that the more established YuGiTubers upload reach the ears of developers and publishers for Master Duel with this simple message: make the 2004 event a permanent feature and unlock a whole new player base with it. I guess I'd better cut the ramble there anyway. I think I got to around 1,000 words with this particular script. But yeah, if you're interested in supporting a potential new guy on the block in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creator scene, then feel free to fusion summon that subscribe button. I'll be uploading at least one Master Duel video per week in addition to my other content, so stay tuned. Some of those will be gameplay videos that were recorded on Discord with an audience. Other ones will be rambly videos like this until I get settled. I might go down the deck building format for more casual decks that don't overwhelm people's brains. We'll see where I land. We'll see where I land with that one. But until the next video, play casual.